The Loganberry canes behind me have rapidly become one of my favorite things to grow on the homestead. However, even though they produce a lot of fruit, they do require a little bit of maintenance. Today we're going to talk about something I wish I hadn't done when it comes to growing Loganberries, and I'm also going to show you how I clean them up to keep them nice and tidy and not taking over the rest of my growing space. Let's get going. So Loganberries are actually a cross, if you will, between a blackberry and a raspberry. They start out as a smaller red berry. They have the same shape as a raspberry. They're not quite as big as a blackberry, and as they ripen, they turn a very dark purple color. If you pick them too early, they're going to be obviously a little tart, just like any other berry or caneberry that you would pick. But they are so delicious. They freeze well. They're great for jams. They're actually my favorite for jam. I really love Loganberries. You also get all of the permaculture benefits of perennials, which is going to be things like soil stabilization, not having to plant every single year. As a standing perennial, they invite insects and native birds. They create a shelter for these critters. So all kinds of good stuff. And because of their woody caneberry texture, they absorb a lot of carbon from the atmosphere and they sink that into the soil. One thing that's really great about a lot of caneberries is that when the canes flop over and make contact with the soil, they sprout roots, right? And that gives us a lot of plants. When I planted these, probably about 8 years ago, I started with 2 bare roots that were in a box that I got on a Tractor Supply kiosk. And I should have researched the growth habit. This is where a cane came up from the original plant. And this is where it had touched down on the ground. And see how prolific that root system is? So I cut this off at a branch juncture, a crotch of the main stem. I'm going to take this and plant this in a new area of the farm. I knew they needed to be trellised, and so I thought that by trellising them, that would also contain them and they would have more of an upright growth habit. Did not even think to consider that the roots would propagate from the stems. So I wish I hadn't planted them in this garden. That being said, I'm not going to relocate them. They do very well. They give us so much fruit every single year. So instead, what I do is I prune them. I maintain them. If I had planted them in the food forest system, they'd be a lot more hands-off. So I encourage you to do so. But I'm going to show you how I clean these up. Gloves are required, good clean pruning shears. And it actually doesn't take that long. It's an annual task I do in very early spring before I start bringing in new plants. All right, I'm not sure how well you can tell from my video. My garden's on a downhill slope. The top of the property is up this way. And that direction is also where the prevailing winds blow from in the wintertime. They change in the summers. If you're not familiar with like charting your winds or finding that information, check out my permaculture class on Substack. Okay, so not only would I have not planted Loganberries in my garden proper here if I had known what I know now, but also I wouldn't put these trellises here. These trellises, because they are on the downward slope, with the combination of those high prevailing winds, they're prone to blowing over. So the first thing I do every winter is secure these trellises for the season. The next thing I'm gonna do after that is start pruning. Let's talk about that next. Every year, Loganberries send out new shoots or canes, and this is what your fruit is going to grow off of. What I'm going to remove is anything that's a darker wood, and we're going to keep the lighter wood colors, reds, greens, anything that's going to be darker. If you're unsure, just try snapping it. The snap is going to show you what's dead, and if it doesn't, then you know that it's a new shoot. And that is going to be what's going to provide you with your fruit for this season. If you are growing your Loganberries in like a row, in a bed, or in a food forest situation, you could prune your canes, the canes you want to remove, right at the very base. Okay, but the other thing that you can do is you actually can create trellises from the dead vines in place and train your new canes to grow on that. You can see where I've done this before. You can see this particular piece here, it's been braided. These are old canes. At the end of 2 seasons ago, I came out here, took the canes, and rather than cut them to the ground, I braided them and wrapped them around my trellis to give reinforcement for new shoots. I'm gonna do the same thing this year. So while most folks will go through, prune, and cut the canes right to the ground and remove those, I'm actually going to use them to wrap around my trellis and reinforce the support for new shoots to grow off of. Hopefully you can see these behind me. I think it's kind of hard to get the camera to focus, but you can see the wrapping of the vines around the trellis, hopefully. And as these canes continue to grow over time, I will continue to wrap. It is important to try to remove some congestion in between as needed. Old canes that grew up between the spiraling effect, I try to thin out just to keep good airflow for the plants. Though Loganberries are said to be one of the most disease and pest resistant caneberries out there, we do just want to ensure airflow and sunlight, always good for fruit ripening and harvesting. That concludes today's video. We have a nicely wrapped trellis here. We've got new plants to go relocate elsewhere. I hope I've inspired you to plant some Loganberries. So long as they're in the right spot, they're going to be very prolific, beautiful plants that are going to provide all those permaculture benefits and a lot of abundance year after year. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.